Understanding Earth's oceans, atmosphere, and climate are crucial for the next generation.
But 5 more minutes to fill, test that your tank doesn't leak. We can't wait to hang out and finish build.
And by doing the experiments, you get to learn, one, how the fundamentals work, but more importantly, why they break. And then finally, you will teach your peers here how to do the experiment that you learned today. Okay, so call out the differences that you see already.
Vertically invariant. That's so crazy and unlike what's in your sink or coffee.
Alright, we've been looking forward to this session more than any other this whole time. Mid-latitude storms will be the first, and then we'll go to thermal wind. We'll sort of flag you down to wrap it up at about 7-8 minutes. We'll just go from station to station. Let's do it. So everyone work your way to the back left corner with Next Stab et al. Doing barocentric instability and winter storm.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're going to showcase mid-latitude storms. We have 2 rotating tanks going on, but we're
Same temperature.
We have used a can of tomato paste. So if you don't have ice cubes easily available, there's other ways to have some cold dents there that'll last longer. And we've worked on creating a greater thermal contrast.
You can start to see movement. You sort of, like, if you get down here, you don't see it quite so much, but at an angle, you can
have it sit for a long time. We noticed yesterday it eventually started to regulate out. You get this nice color contrast with the cold and the warm over.
Okay, so what we have done is 2 tanks but we can do this the same experiment using only one tank. We can start without ice, but later we can add ice. So I think I'm gonna do like now. I can see some.
You start seeing the red line.
With us with here, you see the wrap, and then you can start to see over time.
That's fine.
We thought about ways to modify this too. If you guys put a light, an incandescent light to sort of represent the sun. We're done. Thank you.
So we have here a model to kind of represent that hot air up, cold air down. But this whole system is rotating, and that's causing some other types of forces.
Someone said it.
Coriolis.
Coriolis. Yes. Perfect.
So I'll put the glue there. So the idea is to see how we have sharing taking place. And
Oh yeah.
If you get down,
when you get down, you'll see it.
the blue is really easy to see.
Yeah.
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 We figured it out.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's
Thermal wind? Amazing.
Okay, now we're ready. Everybody here? So this topic is called Taylor columns. It's one of those things that comes out of the mathematics very simply, but is very mysterious to look at.
So I usually like to make a column of it. To show that that column is really stagnant, if you put just a drop and too far, but that's okay. But you see how it's already starting to settle on top of the puck, not moving forward or backwards.
What could go wrong?
A lot can go wrong. So if you go too fast, what I've also noticed too is when you slow it down, you can see some of it already also going around as it's in the slow down process from higher speed.
So this experiment is designed to demonstrate a boundary layer, make that visible for you by using potassium permanganate crystals, which are very dense, so they'll sink to the bottom. And we're going to put chia seeds that will float on the top so that you can see the difference.
After we add the tracers, I'm going to slow down the rotation, so that is going to create a drag force. You'll also reduce the Coriolis force, because the Coriolis force is proportional to the flow speed. Now I'm going to slow it down a little bit, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to create friction that opposes motion, and this is going to make everything converge to the center.
So one of the things you want to notice is that with the boundary layer, we have the potassium permanganate moving towards the center, but we're not seeing a clump of chia seeds on the surface moving towards the center.
So we can just keep playing with it and also just speed it up, and then I'm going to accelerate motion and have divergence.
Do it, do it.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's very viscosity.
I love that. That's so cool.
How fast you can go?
Frank is very nice.
So we are illustrating a surface oceanographic feature that collects garbage in the Pacific Ocean. You have the pink fan here that's moving from the eastern equatorial Pacific across to the western equatorial Pacific. We have another atmospheric circulation cell here in the blue, and they are moving across towards the east. So these are the westerlies. And then we also have our floaters, which are representative of the plastics, fishing nets, microplastics, all kinds of things that are entering the global oceans. And what we'll see is that because the direction of flow is to the right of each of these two wind cells, we have convergence of the material towards the center of the tank. Because we are piling up both the water and the plastics at the center of the tank, we are essentially creating a dome in the center here, and that dome creates pressure that forces the water downwards.
And along the sides of the tank, because we have to have corresponding outward motion, red dye upwards towards the surface, and then ultimately backwards in towards the center. So we'll show you the same thing in the southern hemisphere, and then we can see where the dots have ended up.
Yes, Coriolis flip sign. So your water mass transfer is going to be to the left of the wind flow, which is still going to be inward. So it's kind of tricky, a lot of mind flipping going on here. Yeah. Nice. And I put the trash in there, unfortunately. So.
You can see the already all the
Awesome.
Hello everyone. So first we're going to start off with some non-rotating convection to show you how that's going to work, and then we're going to move on to the rotating convection.
It's obviously not rotating. We're going to stop it for a few seconds, and then we're going to see what happens when we start it up again. So what happens is when you stop it, the outside stops spinning, but the very inside of it is still rotating. See, the spirals are still happening in the green center. And then you have this kind of rotating, kind of like a polar vortex around the sides.
So what were some of the, were you guys able to pretty much get this to work the first time around, or were there some issues that you had to, we should be aware of as we try this one?
Yeah, so most of our issues had to do with the motor and figuring out it needed weight.
Why do you use the spray also, not directly dye?
The spray bottle, I think, was supposed to spread out the density so that we would get those like small dense areas to create these cells.
Well done. Yeah.
Here what we're going to be doing again is creating a thermal gradient using a cold core in the center here with warmer water outside. Because cold water sinks, it's going to sink and move outward. A circulation around the top of the tank in the same direction, at the bottom opposite direction. You'll see this very canonical thermal winch here.
The little circle.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that was a classic smoke ring vortex.
Yep.
I wonder here too, this is kind of cool. I wonder if the temperature gradient is massively evolving in time. This tank's huge.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just added the ice.
There's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just takes a minute. I mean, you're watching real time how we end up developing these things and testing them, right?
Yeah.
Just keep throwing stuff at it until it works.
I think we'll call it on the HT3. Demo Carnival done. Let's give everyone.
There you go.